Star Wars Squadrons has been out now for 2 weeks, and fans all across the world are taking to the stars. Pilots don't have to venture too far before becoming really hyper aware why they weren't meant to fly planes in the first place in reality, because for a lot of gamers, this isn't an easy game, and I'm saying that myself. My game crashes 5 minutes in, but the 5 minutes that I get, I am terrible. But the story and the experience pretty incredible, and it's pulling in non-gamers, and that's why we are joined by Arezou Amin this week, because not only is she a non-gamer herself, a self-proclaimed non-gamer herself, but she's also the latest and greatest member of the BTBD crew, so we are so glad to have you with us, and officially welcome to the family, Arezou. It's so good to have you.
Officially, thank you. I'm happy to be part of this family, despite Pete's skepticism.
That's so funny.
Welcome. I'm withdrawing my welcome. I think it's
Ouch.
Unbelievable. Well, let's dive right into this because I think it's a fun conversation that we're set up for. You know, maybe non-gamer is too firm. I used to game in high school, not really anymore, Arezou, but you brought this game probably playing for the campaign experience, but also for that online experience as well. I'm assuming that you're not secretly a member of Team Liquid. I'm assuming you are a non-gamer, as you proclaim. But what are you enjoying the most right now? That online experience or the campaign that takes a little bit easier on you?
So, full disclosure, I haven't gone online yet. One, because I'm scared. And two, because I've been battling a bit of a stomach bug the last couple of days. And I fly so poorly that if I spin the way I usually do, I'll probably make myself sick. So I just haven't played it all in the last couple of days. But I bought it primarily for the campaign. I actually hadn't planned on buying it at all until I realized there was a campaign mode. And then I thought, okay, there's a story here. So if there's a story, I'm going to want to experience it. So that's why I got it. And I'm enjoying campaign mode so far.
I love that. Wes Braswell is watching on Facebook. Wes, hello. He says, shout out, that family video has many, many Star Wars games, which is great. If you still buy games in person, God bless you. I did Steam, and I don't know, maybe that's why my PC keeps crashing. I'm not quite sure. Here's my thing. I think for me, my gaming experience is always so campaign driven because I like the story. I like learning new tidbits. You get to familiarize with new characters. Maybe you get little samples of this and that about the pre-existing story that you didn't know already. Now, Pete, you have played the online experience a lot. Would you beg to say that the campaign is not as great of experience as flying around with your friends?
I wouldn't go that far. I would say it's two experiences, actually. And I think one of the things that is amazing with the campaign, and I may have said it last week, but the campaign is a payoff for people like the three of us who are on this show, who love the lore, who read the books, who watch the television shows and stuff, because there are Easter eggs dropped throughout. I will not tell anybody any of them because I'm only a handful of missions in, and I know there's more to come, and every one is a wonderful surprise, whether it's the mention of a character or the appearance of a character. And so I think that the campaign is great for that, but the online experience has been just so much fun. I mean, I stink. I'm no good. Join me online, but don't expect me to protect you, cover your wing, because it's going to be bad. But playing it, just a couple days ago, playing it with Andy and Josh and Scotty, and my first mission I flew with Shannon. So those of us in the network, plus Apprentice Ewok, who's one of our patrons, he and I have flown. There's and just to be able to get out there and just sort of play with your friends is an experience that you need to try it. I've been awful at Fortnite online. I get murdered there very quickly and very frustrated. But I think that's one of the other things is because it's such a fun experience, I don't want to throw the controller like I normally would when I'm playing a multiplayer online game.
You bought like $120 joystick, so you probably should be a little bit more careful with throwing
I'll be very
that.
Careful. Well, that's the other reason why I haven't thrown it. Is because...
Did you see there is like a New Republic-ified controller for the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think it's for Xbox actually.
Oh, that's for Xbox? Yep. Oh, well, it looks gorgeous.
We don't get fun things on the PlayStation, apparently.
No, we don't.
Well, I play PC, and I get a game that doesn't freaking work. So there you go. Hey, I want to shout out real quick. This is interesting. Apprentice Ewok says, I honestly think EA made a mistake by saying they don't have DLC planned. but I'm loving playing and being part of Voodoo Squadron.
Woo.
That's right. He's a Patreon supporter. Arezou, to get you up to speed, we have Patreon supporters, and if they join, they can join Voodoo Squadron. And Pete, the merch whore that he is promoting that merch right now.
Always do.
But you know what? I think he's right. And Pete, you kind of spoke up about it, but first I'd like to go to Arezou. As someone who doesn't play games a lot,
right?
Is downloadable content post the original release important to you? Is that something that entices you to want to get a game?
No. In all honesty, like, no. I think maybe when the Lego Skywalker Saga comes out, my answer might be different. But for this and for Battlefront 2, which is the only game I've ever completed the campaign on, I played for the campaign. I played for the story. So the additional DLC wasn't an incentive because my brother and I had the game already. So just in long story short, it doesn't make a huge difference to me, but I understand that other people are upset about this.
Oh, Pete is one of those people.
No, I think it's strange that they came out and said it. You know, the game right now is at a peak. It's at a high. If you go on Twitter, even people who don't game it, Arezou, you're a great example of somebody who's not an avid gamer who is involved in to go out and say and make a point of saying we don't plan to offer DLC seems a little bit of a PR mistake, and I feel like they're going to put stuff out there. Here's my vision. Here's my hope. Much like Fortnite, where you can spend $10 to get different skins and different colors for your whatever. My son constantly is asking me for a new skin for Fortnite. I don't understand spending that kind of money on something that doesn't help your game and only looks cool. With Star Wars, if you're going to offer me for X number of dollars the ability to paint my ship with something else, or to have access to another type of weapon or something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend the money. So I think my opinion is they're going to come around on it. They're going to change their opinion on that, and they'll make it available because people will pay for it.
Here's my question, Arezou, from your experience so far, what about this game is worth it to the non-gamer to make the investment, make that $40 investment?
For the non-gamer, if you are into the story, if you're into the lore, on that side, that is worth it. It's a nice campaign. It's a nice sort of, if you like the pilot stuff, then it's a fun, engaging story, and then you sort of get to interact with pilots from the TV shows, from the movies. So that part of it's cool. If you're just the type who doesn't want to miss out, whose friends are gamers, then you have that online option, and you can play with them cross-platform, which is, I think, a new thing, but I don't know. So like that's a new feature. So for the non-gamer in that respect, that's also fun. But if you don't like pilots and you don't like Star Wars, then there's nothing here for you. But then I assume you're not listening to me talk right now anyway. So yeah.
The honesty there, I love it. I'm really excited about it. For me, I think that I'm really impressed with how immersive it is, as far as like a visually, like a visual spectacle. I love it. And I think it's probably because I am playing on PC. The little time I have experience with this game, what it looks like on my monitor is unbelievable. And I think about playing like Jedi Starfighter on the PS2 so many years ago. And I mean, that was mind blowing as a 15-year-old. But now, a little bit more than 10 years later, and this is the kind of video game that we get. I think it's spectacular. We talked about it last week. I mean, I know that people don't like the fact that there's no DLC planned, but I still think that this is a step in the right direction for EA. I think it's a better use of the license. We've got 3 solid games here, back to back to back. I would hope that the response to Star Wars Squadrons is enough to where DLC it's revisited. Do you think do you think there's a possibility, guys?
Yeah, and I think at $40, even if they don't, you haven't overinvested. Right, I mean, compared to the average $60 game. So I think I think they'll come around on it, but it's not a deal breaker. It wouldn't stop anybody. It shouldn't stop anybody from buying it.
And by the way, if you want to find out more about what the non-gamer would enjoy from Star Wars Squadrons, it just turns out that Arezou wrote a full article on BeyondTheBlastDoors.com, and really well done. What a great fun read to have here. And I found myself relating in a lot of spots, especially right in the middle where she's like, listen, I am terrible at this game. I'm terrible at this game, Arezou, so we can relate there. Oh, hey, there's that controller that I was telling you about. God, that thing is gorgeous. But yeah, Arezou has that full article up online on BeyondTheBlastDoors.com, so be sure you check that out.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars conversation.